You understand?
50 kilos for 50 kilos.
50 kilos for 50 kilos and direct exchange. So maybe the one going for Saddam probably would use it for, you know, dishes like, let's say, Benichin, for instance, or
Whatever.
Durong or whatever. But the one that going for the long grain one, the American or the long grain one, maybe he wants to use it for porridge or something else. He must have his own objective. So, of course, everybody who eats rice in this country, which is our staple food, you know that Saddam is different from American rice. American rice is different from another type of Saddam, or Uncle Ben's. So there are different categories of rice. But once you agree to exchange one for the other, even though seemingly one is look like, you know, better quality, even though this is highly subjective, rice is rice. These two conditions are important. There must be, you know, the amounts, the quantity must be equal, and it must be by direct exchange. These are important conditions. And the same thing also applies with beans, all sorts of beans. Imam Malik ibn Anas, when it comes to zakat, his opinion was that in zakat, beans, although they have different category of varieties, but they are considered one category when it comes to zakat. Means that if you have, you know, bit of it, bit of one type, and another bit of another type, you can bring them together and see whether you have reached the taxable amount or not. You have got the taxable amount or not. But when it comes to the transactions, each variety stands on its own, distinctly from the other. Each variety is distinct from the other. So in other words, this explanation is absolutely important, because when it comes to food, whether it is rice or beans or whatever, if the varieties are not the same, then you know, equality it is permissible for them to exchange it with unequal amount of quantity. One can get more, like maybe you can barter 50 kilo for 30 kilo, because they are not of the same variety. But it must be by direct exchange. Any food, anything that is consumed by human beings, you call it food, what type of, no matter what type of food it is, when it is being exchanged for the others for another type of food, it must be by direct exchange. If they are from the same quality, if they are from the same variety, also the amounts must be equal. But if the varieties are different, then there can be different in the amount of quantity. In other words, you can exchange, let's say, for instance, 50 kilos of beans with 30 kilos of rice, because they are not from the same variety.
Okay, that can be done.
That can be done. And that is why when it comes to beans, for every variety, if you are exchanging one variety with the same variety, it must be equal, and also it must be by direct exchange. But if it is one variety of bean with another variety of beans, the quantities may be different, but it has to be by direct exchange.
But even within beans?
Yeah, because as like I said to you, particularly in the Maliki, the majority opinion is that beans are of different varieties in the transactions. Although they are considered one variety in zakat, but in the transaction they are considered different varieties in the sense that for each variety, if you are exchanging you know, a particular amount of a particular variety of beans with the same variety, it has to be by direct exchange, and also the quantities must be equal. But if you are exchanging a particular amount of one variety with another amount of another variety, here the condition that you must not miss is direct exchange. But the quantities can be different.
So this applies only bean, not rice?
Yeah, it applies, not only bean, it applies to rice, it applies to what you have to understand is, you have to decide whether the varieties are the same or not, or they are not the same or not. Or the thing that you are exchanging, they belong to the same variety, or they belong to two different varieties. If they belong to the same variety, whether it is beans, rice, salt, whatever it is, it has to be by direct exchange, and it also must be with equal quantity.
Yeah, but Saddam and this other American rice are different varieties.
No, rice, that's what I'm saying. According to Fuqaha al-Islam, insofar as you call it rice, all sorts of rice, they are categorized as one variety.
Okay.
They are categorized as one variety.
Okay.
Because, you see, the thing is, I know what is pushing you to Saddam. I understand very well, but that is highly subjective. There are some people who don't like Saddam. I am not even keen for Saddam myself, and there are many people who don't like Saddam. But there are people who think that unless you get Saddam, you're not eating rice.
Okay.
So this is highly subjective. It doesn't, weigh that much when it comes to, bartering or exchange of rice for rice, as far as riba is concerned. Allahu alam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's now leave the grains. Let's move to animals now.
Yeah.
For example,
Meat, for instance.
meat. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Where I come from, in Yomi, people used to exchange animals.
Yeah.
If you have 6 hen, you change it for 1 goat. You have 6 goat, you change it for 1 cow. How is that Islamically?
Well, this is a very interesting exercise.
It happens there.
But here, custom will play a very, very important role here. Islam has to be convinced that 6 hens, values like something like 1 goat, for instance. You understand? It is very important that the parties are conscious of the implication of the exchange, because in any sell or selling, buying, or any other form of exchange, the implication is that you lose your property to somebody else. In other words, ownership will have to exchange. Ownership in your property will have to go to somebody else, but what you will be getting you get in return something from him. So in that particular object too, ownership will transfer to you. That's the implication. That because we are exchanging, you and I are exchanging these 2 devices, the implication is that I'm going to lose this one, and you are going to lose yours too to me. So insofar as we understand this, and everything is done in a transparent way, and there are no situation where one stands to deceive the other. It must not be. It is not. There's nothing wrong, but it has to be by direct exchange.
Yeah, that's how it is done there.
Well,
yeah, it's direct exchange, and the rules are well understood by everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, it's acceptable.
Okay.
Insofar as it is by direct exchange.
Okay. Now, what happens? For example, if I have a sheep, right? Someone has a ram. Now you have a naming ceremony. It happens in the village most of the time.
Yeah.
You have a naming ceremony. You don't want to kill the sheep because you believe maybe it's pregnant, and you need a ram. Now you tell the owner of the ram that give me 200 plus this ram, and I give you this sheep.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an exchange
sort of set off, yes.
Yeah, but he will add some money onto what he has and give it to you, and then you exchange it.
Complete the value.
Yeah.
Again, the same rule will apply.
But this is things of the same breed.
Yeah, yeah. You see, in other words, I know what you are saying. The rule that I explained earlier will apply when it comes to food. Now here, the ram is not yet food, or the goat is not yet food.
But it's ram.
When you slaughter, skin it out, the meat becomes now food. Then the rule that I explained earlier will apply, and that was why I was going to explain to you that the what they call the quadruped animals, the animals that are created with 4 legs, they are considered one variety.
All of them.
All of them are one variety. So 1 kilo of goat for 1 kilo of cattle or cow, or 1 kilo of ram for 1 kilo of maybe you look at any other halal
deer.
Deer, for instance, because of the fact that they are equipped with 4 legs, they are all considered one variety, and because they are all considered one variety, exchange of one with the other, the 2 conditions that I explained must apply. The quantities must be the same, and it must be by direct exchange. Okay, but doctor, but what you raised before is a different issue.
Yeah, they are all, they belong to the sheep family.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But the same variety, but different quality.
Well, yes. You see, that's again you're coming to something which is highly subjective. Different quality, but quality is quality. You understand? It is not.
So you want to tell me that the rule here doesn't apply to whether it is sheep or it is goat. It applies to the meat.
It applies to the meat, and it applies to the fact that the type of meat that we are referring to. We are referring to a particular type of meat coming from an animal created by Allah with 4 legs. They are all of the same variety.
So it means a sheep weighing 10 kilos can be exchanged with a goat weighing 10 kilos.
10 kilos. Or 10 kilo of cow meat or cattle meat can be exchanged with 10 kilo
I'm not talking about the meat.